Miss Lawn was a dedicated 5th grade teacher at a small school in the countryside. Every day, she would walk into her classroom with a bright smile and her familiar greeting, "I love you all." But deep down, the students could sense that her words didn't always ring true, especially when it came to Henry. Henry was different, a quiet boy who always wore old, worn-out clothes and scuffed shoes. His collar was often stained, and he never seemed to pay attention in class. Instead, his gaze was always fixed on the window, as if dreaming of another world. At first, Miss Lawn felt irritated, but her irritation slowly grew into dislike. She began criticizing Henry openly in class, and his grades continued to plummet. By midterm exams, Henry performed poorly. Frustrated, Miss Lawn wrote a harsh letter to his family, expressing her disappointment. However, before sending it, the school required the letter to be reviewed by the principal. When the principal read the letter, he frowned. "Miss Lawn," he said gently, "there isn't a single positive remark about Henry here. As a teacher, you should always find something good to say." Miss Lawn defended herself, "Sir, I wrote exactly what I've observed. There's nothing good to mention about Henry." The principal paused, then asked a staff member to retrieve Henry's old progress reports and place them on Miss Lawn's desk. The next morning, Miss Lawn found the stack of reports waiting for her. Out of curiosity, she began reading. In his 3rd grade report, Henry was described as a bright, intelligent, and wise student. But in his 4th grade report, Miss Lawn was stunned to learn why his behavior had changed. The report stated that Henry had become withdrawn and less attentive because his mother had been diagnosed with late-stage cancer. At the end of the report, there was a note from the principal, "Henry's mother has passed away. As teachers, we must work together to keep the light in his life from going out." Tears filled Miss Lawn's eyes as guilt and regret washed over her. She realized she had failed to see the pain behind Henry's actions. That day, when she walked into the classroom and said, "I love you all," her voice was filled with sincerity. She looked at Henry differently, with compassion and understanding. From that moment on, Miss Lawn gave Henry the care and support he desperately needed. She guided him in his studies and encouraged him to believe in himself. By the final exams, Henry shocked everyone by topping the class. As the school year ended and students prepared to move on to middle school, they gave farewell gifts to their teachers. Henry handed Miss Lawn a small, unwrapped package. Inside, she found a simple bracelet and a nearly empty bottle of perfume. While the other students snickered, Miss Lawn immediately wore the bracelet and sprayed some perfume on her wrist. Henry hesitated, then softly said, "Miss Lawn, today you smell like my mom." Overwhelmed with emotion, Miss Lawn hugged him tightly and whispered, "Henry, I pray you'll grow up to be an amazing and successful man. And never forget, you'll always have a second mother." Years passed, and Henry continued to write letters to Miss Lawn, sharing every milestone in his life. One day, long after she had retired, Miss Lawn received a wedding invitation from Dr. Henry. Included with the invitation was a plane ticket. At the wedding, Henry introduced Miss Lawn to everyone, "This is my mother." Tears filled their eyes as they embraced, both overcome with joy and gratitude. The moral of the story: always look beyond a person's outward behavior to understand their struggles and pain. Compassion, empathy, and kindness have the power to transform lives. As a teacher, one holds the incredible ability to shape a student's future, leaving a lasting impact. Understanding and love can heal even the deepest wounds and create unbreakable bonds.